I'm Ben Solak. Week 17's in the books. Happy New Year. Welcome to the play sheet. The opening script. Eagles defense is a big problem. I want to rewind to the last weekend in November. Okay, just ate Thanksgiving dinner. Belly's nice and full. Watched a lot of football. And the Philadelphia Eagles are 10-1. They just came off a thrilling overtime win against the Bills. In fact, they've beaten the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Bills in consecutive weeks. And they control their destiny with the best record of football in the NFC. Now, they do have some problems. Everybody's aware of these, right? They are 20th in defensive success rate, 26th in defensive EPA per drive. This is clearly a below average unit. This despite the fact that they have big contracts doled out to Darius Slay, James Bradbury, and Avonte Maddox in the secondary, to Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, and Fletcher Cox along the defensive line. This despite the fact that they spent first-round picks on Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis on that defensive line, despite the fact that they traded midseason for Kevin Byard. There is so much talent poured into this defense, and it's still an underperforming unit. Enter December, and the wheels really come off, right? They give up 42 points to the 49ers, 33 points to the Cowboys, lose back-to-back games, lose control of the NFC, and accordingly, they make a coaching change. Before a Monday Night Football game against the Seahawks, it's announced that defensive coordinator Sean Desai is no longer... Okay, so he's still the defensive coordinator. It's just he doesn't get to do any defensive coordinator things anymore, like calling plays. That's all. It's off of his plate now, and it's been given to Matt Patricia. If you're like, hey, who's Matt Patricia? He's the ex-defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots, turned head coach of the Detroit Lions, turned offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. He's been a senior defensive assistant with the Eagles all season. In news that is shocking the nation, the Matt Patricia change didn't work, okay? They lost to the Seahawks on a game-winning Drew Lock drive, and then they beat the Giants, right? And that was the Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor-led Giants. But it's not like the defense got that much better. Still, they were in a position where if they won their last two games against the Cardinals and the Giants, the Eagles would win the NFC East. They'd be the 2 seed. And then, against the Cardinals, the Eagles delivered their worst defensive performance by success rate in the last 17 seasons. It is the third worst single game performance of any defense this season. Better only than the Cardinals against the Niners. And that one time the Broncos gave up 70 to the Dolphins. Yeah, those are the only two defensive performances worse than what the Eagles did against the Cardinals on Sunday. So, what made offense so easy for the Cardinals against the Eagles on Sunday? And can the Eagles defense be trusted at all in the postseason? Let's go to play action. Short answer, no. Long answer, the Cardinals ran for 221 yards, all right? And they did so because the Eagles are very predictable in how they try to defend the run, and then really, really liable with their second-level defenders. They're not good. This right here is a bear front. We got to start with this, right? We are in a 5-down front. This is the front the Eagles want to defend the run out with 5-down defensive linemen. They're going to have Jordan Davis, who's that early pick, right? That first-round pick out of Georgia. He can be their nose tackle. They drafted him to run these fronts. And then their defensive tackles, right? They're either going to be in the gap, like Milton Williams is right here, right? He's attacking this gap. He's between the guard and the tackle. Or they're going to be more like Fletcher Cox is, where he's lined up head over the tackle, right? This player is a little bit more of a 1-gap player. This player is a little bit more of a 2-gap player, right? He might play into here, he might play into there. And then on the outside, they're going to have Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat operating as kind of like outside linebackers. And these guys are your edge defenders, right? They're going to stop everything from coming to the outside. When you're facing a bear front as an offense, right? You don't really have the ability to run to the interior because there's these 3 defensive bodies that are mucking up a lot of these interior gaps. And then obviously there's gonna be linebackers coming downhill and filling. What you want to do against this front is you want to kick out these ends and then run into that C gap right there, right? Between the tackle and the tight end, That's how you'd like to attack this front. This has been Bear Front 101 with Ben. Let's get to the plays. So the first thing the Cardinals start doing when the Eagles are in that 5 defensive line personnel, and they want to be in that bear front, is they start screwing with alignment, right? They go right here, 2 tight ends into the boundary, right? Into the narrow side of the field. And to the field side, to this wide side of the field, they put 2 receivers and they spread them out. What this does, it takes Hassan Reddick right here, it pulls him off the line of scrimmage and forces him to play like an actual linebacker role. Hassan Reddick played more snaps in coverage in this game than he has at any point this season. And it's because the Eagles just kind of let the Cardinals, by formation, pull him off the line of scrimmage, put him into coverage roles by putting wide receivers out here. So firstly, we're screwing with formation, which is smart. End zone view. Okay, so we put 2 tight ends on the field, and we got the personnel we expected, right? Eagles want to be in their 5-down front. But with formation, we pulled Hassan Reddick off the line of scrimmage, got him out of the box, and we pulled Keely Ringo, a corner, into the box, into the run fit, right? Corner not as good as defending the run as defensive lineman is. So now this is nice and easy, right? They shift James Conner over, right? Pull him from the left side to the right side. And then we're going to run GT counter. All right, nice little power play. Down block. defensive tackle. Down block right here. We're sealing these defensive tackle, these run stoppers out of the run. We are pulling both the guard. He's going to take out Josh Sweat as he comes upfield. And then we're pulling the tackle as well. GT counter, all right? What this allows us to do, right? And we get Trey McBride climb to the second level. He's going to stop this linebacker from coming. Look at the wall that the Cardinals get here. Right there, these two down blocks, beautiful. And then Trey McBride to the second level on Shaq Leonard. There's no chance, right? So now it's just James Conner following tackles, following blockers. And the key block is Nick Morrow, play side backer, against the pulling right tackle, Paris Johnson in the hole. You like your tackle against Nick Morrow every day of the week and twice on Sundays, right? You like your tackle against any linebacker usually, but Morrow, like the Eagles' linebacking situation is tough, right? Morrow was a street free agent. They cut him outside of camp. They brought him back in the year. He is not good at taking on contact, not good at surviving the point of attack. So you want this matchup every day of the week, because once you win this block, now it's James Conner up against Reed Blankenship, up against the safety filling from depth. And James Conner's going to win that, plant Reed Blankenship, pick up the first down every day of the week and twice on Sundays. So now we can watch it through. Down blocks here from the left side, pullers from the right side. Bang. I mean, he's untouched through the first into the second level. And so when you know the front you're going to get, you go tight ends into the boundary, you spread it out to the field, you pull that corner in, and then we just hand the ball off to the back, we run it to the weak side. And they did it all game long. Later in the game, second quarter, right? The core of the formation here looks the same. There's actually a receiver over here this time and a receiver over here, but that four-man surface, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, that four-man surface remains. That's what we want to run to. We got bare front again. Look at where Josh Sweat is, man. Look where he's lined up, and then we have the defensive tackle here inside of the offensive tackle. The C gap is wide open. The D gap's wide open. This is structurally, this is unsound defense. At the snap, you are losing in this bubble. In the running game, we talk about bubbles, right? When you have spaces between defensive tackles, right? Like a little bubble right here. When you have this space this big and there's no linebacker stacking it, because in the last play, the Eagles were in 5 down defensive linemen, and they had 2 backers. They had Nick Morrow and they had Shaq Leonard, right? They were in a 5-2 looking defense, really like a 3-4. Right now, they are in 5 down defensive linemen, 1 linebacker, and then they have 5 DBs. There's 3 safeties and a corner and a corner. 5-1-5. Which is very ugly, and it hasn't worked for them at all. And it's bad, and it's not good, which is what bad means, but I'm upset. So we're gonna run to the C gap. This is not hard. This time we pull the center, and we pull the tackle. But it's gonna play out the same way. We're gonna go down blocks, we're gonna climb to the second level, we're gonna kick out Josh Sweat, and James Conner's just gonna follow everybody. It's gonna play out the exact same way. Look at that double team. Displacement, Trey McBride to the second level. And now you're asking Kevin Byard to fit from depth, right? Kevin Byard is the primary ball fitter here. He's 10 yards off. And then Josh Sweat gets bamboozled, right? Josh Sweat thinks this is some sort of like pass action, like this is actually going to the boundary, and so he doesn't set a hard edge. Look, there's nobody to block. They're 33 yards upfield. There's no one at the point of attack. Oi. It's very ugly. Now, when you're predictable defensively, I give you multiple tight ends, you give me a 5-man front. It isn't just the run that gets affected. It certainly was the case in this game, but it's also the pass. Here the Cardinals are again. There's 2 tight ends, right? It doesn't look like it. We got tight end, and this is James Conner to the top. This is 12 personnel. So what did the Eagles give him? Gave him 4 down defensive linemen, and there's Hassan Reddick flexed out. They wanted to be in 5 downs. They thought they were going to get 2 tight ends. They thought they were going to get Kyler under center, back here, going to run the ball. So Hassan Reddick's on the field, 5 down defensive lineman, right? But he's got to get flexed out to deal with this wide formation, the spread formation. So now after Kyler Murray, who are you going to throw the ball at? I'm going to throw the ball at Hassan Reddick. All right? It's structurally, if your solution to multiple tight ends has to be being a 5 down front because you don't have the off-ball linebackers to survive, then you're going to end up in positions where Reddick has to play the pass, right? They're going to flex him out. And then can you protect him? Can you hide him? You don't have the coverage personnel to do this. And so they're going to hit him. Right back at it again. 13 personnel. Tight end. Running back. We got 1 receiver on the field. What formation are the Cardinals going to get out of this very clearly run personnel? 5 wide. Right? You are, look at where Reddick's lined up. Reddick looks like a nickel. Looks like a slot corner. That's Hassan Reddick. When I as an offensive coordinator get you in a spot where you've got 5 down defensive linemen on the field and I'm in spread, right? I'm in 3-by-2 open shotgun. the menu of coverages that are available to you are so limited because you can't do anything with this player. This is a critical player. You want to run any sort of match coverage? You want to run any sort of man coverage? This guy's really, really important. Whoever's playing that position right there. And currently it is a outside linebacker. It's a edge rusher. I got you. I win, right? And so even this time they don't end up targeting Reddick, right? They're gonna get the same seam runner, and then they're gonna get a little underneath route from Greg Dortch, and that's what they end up throwing. Right there, right? So okay, Reddick goes in collisions. I don't have to throw that though. I can just throw Greg Dortch, who's a wide receiver, one-on-one against Shaq Leonard in space, because you have to run zone. You have to run functionally spot dropping zone because you can't run anything else once I get that player in that position. Easy pitch and catch. We just keep moving the football. Now, a lot of the Reddick coverage reps end up being underneath targets to slot receivers, tight ends, and running backs, which if you're losing to that, you kind of live with it, right? That's part of playing ball. At least you're not losing to 40-yard throws down the field. The problem is that trying to solve this issue with Reddick getting flexed out, the Eagles started to deploy other defensive machinations, which sucked, and they went right back to losing to the running game. The problem with losing to the run like this is that it's really hard to stop the snowball from going down the mountain, right? We can see that structurally here. They're in bare front, right? But what they want to do is they want to get to a different defensive spacing than they've been giving the Cardinals because they're losing. And so they're going to actually blitz Shaq Leonard right up the middle here. And we're going to bring Milton Williams across, and we're going to bring Jalen Carter across, right? So we're going to change the presentation. Because if you think about it, if we get another look here, it's double team here up to this guy, and then we pull right here. Well, firstly, we have the opportunity for penetration to win for us. Secondly, with Shaq Leonard coming down the mountain, right, we're going to be able to beat these pullers now because Shaq's going to be on top of the pullers way faster than they anticipate. We're going to be able to muck all this up. So we've been losing to this run. Let's change the picture a little bit. So you can see right before the ball snapped, here comes Shaq Leonard. He's coming down. So structurally, you start to change stuff. The other thing is that you start to take advantage of individual players. This is Josh Sweat. All game long, Sweat's been getting this. Humphrey's moving away from him, double team, go climb to the second level. And then a puller comes and ear holes him right here, right? He steps down and bang, he gets sent this direction. So he's going to be at the snap really fast downhill into the center, right? Because we're bringing pressure off this side. He wants to go in collision. He wants to go cause problems for these pullers. What are the Cardinals actually doing? They're going to seal him off with McBride. And Humphreys is going to pull outside of him. So we've been hitting you, and now we're going to okie doke you. Now we're going to olay you, and we're actually going to hit you from the other side, right? And so this pitch comes. There's no hard edge, right? Shaq Leonard stepped down. So now you've got Nick Morrow in pursuit against a wide receiver. Okay, this is your starting backer against Zach Pascal's a wide receiver. You can't play that. It can't play. We have to be able to win that engagement at some point. Okay, so we have that issue. The other issue here is now we've got Reed Blankenship, safety filling from depth because Eagles got to do this now. And then on the outside here is Keely Ringo. There's a corner off screen. Reed's got to stay inside of this block, force Connor up, and then force him outside. Stay inside of this. Take this away and force him to Keely Ringo. But Reed's been the guy making the tackles all game. Reed's been the guy making the plays all game from depth. And so what does he do? He tries to take 2 for 1. He gets put outside. Now you got 2 defenders here to the outside, nobody on the inside. James Connors turns upfield. So you got bad scheme, but then you got personnel problems too. So here we are now, third quarter. Once the run starts, hard to stop it from snowballing. Give us a little 2 tight end look. We don't care anymore. We're going 4 down defensive linemen. No more of this bare front nonsense. You're getting Reddick flexed out. You're beating us in the C gap. No more. We're going 4 down. And we're going to play 1 gap with everybody else. Linebacker. Bring a safety down in the box. Bring a nickel corner down. We're going to have a body for every gap. And we're going to play 4 down. And we're going to be okay, right? Wrong. Motion Greg Dortch, right? So now we get to this familiar position, right? We get this 4-man surface over here. We get 2 receivers to this side. Reddick doesn't have to flex anymore. That's nice. But now instead of running all this gap power nonsense, we just run duo. Double team. Movement off the ball, first level. And now as the back, you just pick your gap, right? Maddox has to step down. Shaq has to step down. They have to worry about these gaps. Maddox is over aggressive coming downhill, so we just bounce this thing. It's Michael Carter, bounce it out. 1 guy to beat into the corner. Eli Ricks. Oh. One more time. It's very tough. It's a tough look for the young man. And then Reed Blankenship chases him out 18 yards down the field. So, okay, you're going to go 4 down on us. We can just keep running on you a different way, right? When you have significant personnel deficiencies at the second level. Linebackers fit in the run. And when you only have a very limited menu of ways to solve the run for you up front, they put 2 tight ends on the field, you have a very clear response. You are going to lose over and over and over again in the running game. You don't have solutions. You are predictable in your deployment of personnel, and you are limited in the personnel you have access to. You got nothing in the bag. Right now, offensive coordinators can yank Matt Patricia on a chain. And that's not to take anything away from Drew Petzing, who's the offensive coordinator for the Cardinals, has looked great in year 1 and has me believing in the Cardinals long-term under his offensive tutelage. He's been awesome. But in general, I mean, this is 101 level manipulation stuff. Like, oh, if I just put 2 tight ends on the field, I'm always going to get this look, and then I can line up in whatever formations I want, run whatever I want, and pretty much know your coverage, know your run fits. This is unbelievably simple, unbelievably easy to handle. When we start talking about the Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy brain trust in Dallas, we're talking about Ben Johnson in Detroit, Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. Anybody who's anything in the NFC is going to be able to beat this Eagles defense structurally. They might lose the every so often play to some of the Eagles' star talent, but on the X's and O's, on the chalkboard, ball game. And remember, this is the defensive switch the Eagles invited. This is the one they went out to go find. They said, we haven't been good enough. Let's start doing this. And it's been a mess. It's been poorly coached. It's been poorly executed, and it doesn't win. And so right now, there's no solution waiting in the wings. Oh, Darius Slay is coming back from injury. That's not going to make enough of a difference. Oh, Avonte Maddox just got back. He's going to get his sea legs under him. It's not going to do enough. Oh, like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, their snap counts have been down recently. They'll be fresh for the playoffs. It's not enough. They do not have the talent in the second level of the defense at the linebacker position to be successful as a defense in the NFL. And that comes back down to one man, Howie Roseman. No general manager has so freely and gleefully flouted the linebacker position like Howie Roseman has over the last decade. And the overarching logic of it is sound, right? Build your defense through the pass rush and through coverage. And generally, that's been successful for Roseman. He's had 2 different teams go to the Super Bowl under 2 different defensive coordinators in recent years based off of that premise, a really good pass rush and good coverage at cornerback. But there is a limit to how much you can ignore the linebacker position and still remain a fieldable defense at the NFL level. You can only go so far until your poor linebacker play is so dramatically limiting to the defense that you can't succeed with anything. And that's where the Eagles have arrived. So nothing is changing for this team this year. They're going to lose in the playoffs, and they're going to lose because of their defense. They got offensive issues too, but for the purposes of this play sheet, they're going to lose because of that defense. This upcoming offseason, a reckoning probably has to come for the front office's philosophies about team building. You can only push linebackers so far until the entire defense breaks. And that'll do it for us here on the Play Sheet. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Corey McConnell for producing the episode. Thank you to Matt Patricia for being employed by my favorite team and coaching our defense. I've loved it. It's been great. Rate, and review, and subscribe, and comment, and have a happy new year. You already had a happy new year, but keep having a happy new year. And I love you very much.